Tongan wrestling was, from my understanding, deep in our heritage. It's been around for years. From my understanding, they've said that it was a little bit more brutal back in the day and more barbaric style of wrestling until a more sport-specific type of wrestling was introduced, which was introduced as sumo wrestling, and sumo wrestling became big in Tonga, mostly because it took a little bit away from, I guess, wrestling to the death, but more about using your athleticism to get paid, because it became a real interest when you could start making a living out of it. From sumo wrestling in Tonga, they started to progress into professional wrestling, which is where you start to see some of the legends like Haku and the Barbarian and some of those people that you've seen in WWE or WWF back in the day. But amongst all of that, there has been a little bit of an interest in freestyle wrestling, but it was more overshadowed by the interest of professional wrestling and things like sumo and areas like that where Tongans could make a living out of. Yeah, still do sumo wrestling, and we've got Doc's Fale over there. He also has his own school in South Auckland that teaches professional wrestling. So it's really, wrestling is in our blood and bones. Yeah, I feel very stoked, very honoured to be able to go out there and represent our heritage and push the agenda that we have forward, which is to promote wrestling in Tonga. Like I said before, we're more in the style of sumo wrestling and professional wrestling, but wrestling is in our bones. Right from the roots, we used to wrestle to death almost. So freestyle wrestling or Greco-Roman wrestling, the style of wrestling that we're about to compete in the Commonwealth, is our vision behind it is to promote that and push that agenda forward in Tonga so we can have more people like us. Aaron, one of our athletes, has been trying for many years to get this over the line. For one reason or another, it just hasn't quite worked out yet, trying to get a Tongan wrestling team over to the Commonwealth Games. So from my understanding, this is the first time Tonga will have a wrestling team going over. And for me, myself, this will be my first time heading over to the Commonwealth Games.
I've been wrestling for a while now, since I was about 12, and it's just been something that's been just ongoing, especially with our coach, Amir. We've been with him for a long time now.
I started in Australia. I was actually doing jiu-jitsu. Did a bit of wrestling just to kind of better my jiu-jitsu, but then figured out wrestling was a bit better than jiu-jitsu at the end. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
They offered wrestling at my brother's boxing gym. Amir was the coach, so I just started taking it up and really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I guess I just started wrestling in high school. Wasn't very good at rugby, so.
We had a few competitions here in New Zealand and in Australia as well, which we all had to qualify, at least come top 3, and which we did. And yeah, that's what's really kept us and put us in the position to go to the Commonwealth Games.
It's an honour, really, being able to represent my country and my family, so, yeah, especially at such a young age.
Myself personally, I've been a national champ here in the 125, North Island champ, Auckland champ as well, just throughout the years.
Silver in nationals for Australia. Yeah.
I've got a gold in the national champs for 72 kilos and gold for North Island champs at 68.
I think my best result, probably my last one, was national champion in Australia. So.
It's good to probably give back to my parents.
Yeah, it's for me personally, it's been a huge dream to represent Tonga. I think as a young kid, growing up here in New Zealand, also hearing about Tonga and just growing up in the Tongan culture with my dad. It's been very, very thankful and very just fortunate to represent this country.
Just feeling grateful and really lucky to be able to represent Tonga.
Yeah, just like they said, to honour my family, I guess that's my biggest reason, to put my best foot forward and to do the best that I can possibly be, is really to honour my family, honour my dad, honour my brother, honour my mum.
No, we're just grateful to have the opportunity to go, especially with everything that's happening in Tonga, devastation over there, and as much as we say we want to do it for our families, and we definitely want to do it for the people of Tonga. Tonga hasn't had a gold medal yet, and we'll be hunting to grab that gold medal and bring it back for them. So, yeah.